What's up, everybody? Big Hurt getting down fresh out, and you're tuning in to another episode of Life Lessons. And this is about life after prison. And hopefully, you guys have subscribed to the channel by now so you don't miss out on any of this game that I'm lacing you guys up with. And I want to talk about connecting with family and friends after prison. And it can be very challenging when you reintroduce yourself into society after having been gone for a significant amount of time, and you try to establish bonds with people you knew before you went in, but didn't maintain while you were incarcerated. You know, people change, and a lot of times people assume you're the old you that was the one that went in, and they don't know that you're no longer that person, or if you've transitioned into somebody else since then. You know, you're not that same, young man you were at, 21, 22, or 23, 24. A decade later, you're on some different time. And so people can assume a lot of things about you, especially family members. And if they're not familiar with what you went to prison for, or they don't have any insight because they haven't communicated with you, they will assume all kind of stuff. They watch all these Hollywood movies and they hear about cheek busting and, wig splitting and all this stuff. And they just think the craziest things, but they won't tell you that they think that, but that's what that's what's going through their minds as a result of what they've been brainwashed to believe. And it's up to you to kind of change that perception and to let people know where you stand. And you never know how somebody's going to respond. I had a lot of people that kept a distance until they felt it was the right time to approach me. I had some friends that felt guilty, so they stayed away because of guilt. They felt bad because they didn't write me when I was in, and when I did write them, they didn't respond accordingly. So they felt some kind of way, and I had already moved on from that conversation years ago, but they still remembered it like it was yesterday because they knew that they didn't really, have your back while you were at your darkest hour. And family especially, a lot of times they don't even want to talk about what it is that led to you doing what you did that sent you to prison. They just want to see what you're doing now. And they may take, quite some time to warm up to you because they want to see whether or not you're going to relapse. They think that if you went to prison once, then you're going to go back again, because that's what they are taught. When you go to prison, you keep going back because you like it there. And that's the misconception. So, that's one of the things you're going to have to overcome when you're dealing with family members who haven't seen you or spoken with you in years, since, you've been incarcerated. You also got to deal with family members and friends who are questionable about your goals and what you're trying to achieve now that you're out. A lot of people assume that now that you're free, you should be grateful that you're free. You shouldn't have any high expectations. You shouldn't have any really high strung goals. That you should just be happy to, basically have food and water and a roof over your head and maybe a bucket car to get around in. God forbid you want a Mercedes, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a house in the hills, a Rolex, travel, do vacation. That's blasphemy. You're trying to do way too much and you think you're all that. But they're sitting around not doing anything, and due to that fact, they don't want you to do anything either. They want you just to get out and stay beneath them so that they can feel better about themselves. So that's another thing you got to worry about. And family members are the worst, because what they don't realize, if you were a hustler when you went in, if you were inside and in the feds, for the most part, guys are in there, they're studying, they're taking, real estate courses, stock trading courses, learning about personal training, learning about how to open up LLCs, how to build corporate credit, credit repair. They're doing import, export. They're learning all kind of stuff. So a lot of guys that went in as maybe just your average, criminal, when they get out, these guys are straight entrepreneurs, and that's intimidating for a lot of people. And your friends who maybe have been out here working a 9 to 5, or family members who have just been kind of like treading water, they see you and you got all this energy, you're on top of your game. They get jealous. So, be conscious of that, and be careful what you share with them, because you don't want to share the wrong thing and have them come back to, bite you in the butt. I've heard family members say slick stuff in joking manner, and the undermining message and what they are saying is that they are haters, and that's one of the things you got to watch out for. So, connecting with family and friends can be a beautiful thing. Sometimes family, they do go all out for you, help you get a car, and, help put a roof over your head, give you some financial backing, get you a job, do all kind of things for you. I've seen that happen too. Get you, help you enroll in college. And, that's something that could be, very favorable for you. And it gives you some breathing room so you don't have to be tossed into the rat race. But at the same time, you have a lot of people who are scared of you, who are intimidated. They don't know really who you are, because, so much time has passed. And, rather than waste energy on trying to explain, just be you. And if you can make that connection, fine. And if you can't, you just got to accept it for what it is. But realize that, sometimes the family you have now and the friends are people you've made connections with in prison. I know for myself, a lot of my connections I made in prison as far as friends are the ones who helped me when I got out. They helped me get my first car, helped me establish my first business. They did a lot of things for me, and these weren't blood relatives. And these are people I met in prison over a bowl of soup, over a spread. And so you'd be surprised, your friends and your family, they might not be the people you went to high school or college with. It might be some guys that had your back in your darkest hour. So reconnecting with family, friends, it could be a blessing, and it could also be a curse that could be emotionally draining. So just be conscious of that, and know that your true friends, your true family is not necessarily the people you assume they are, or the people you grew up with. It could be people that you've met in your journey in life. Big Herc, Fresh Out Life Lessons. Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.